Hey guys, in this episode, it is like none other, a special Mother's Day tribute show. And we have a very special guest, my dear sister, Tina Givens. Today, we will talk all about our special dear mother, and we will give special shout outs to the beautiful mothers of our audience members. I'm your host, Tara Gundrum. As a United States Marine Corps veteran, author, and Christ follower, I've had the great privilege of meeting so many people that are living a life of influence, affecting positive change, and are making a difference in their lives and the lives of the people around them. These are the incredible stories of real people. And this is the Possible Project podcast. Hi, Tina. Thank you so much for coming on to the Possible Project podcast and co hosting this special show with me.
Hi, Tara. Thank you for inviting me to be a part of the Project Podcast, honoring all the mothers out there.
Outstanding. So now I want to get to know just a little bit about you first before we jump into the Mother's Day episode. So, how many children do you have? Grandkids? Let's learn a little bit about all of that stuff.
Well, I'm a mother of two. I have a son and a daughter, and a glam muffin, as I call her. She's 7 years old, whom I love to death.
Oh, outstanding. Well, I have my two girls, age 21 and 15, almost driving. And in our family total, I mean, there are five of us. So I would have loved to have everybody on the show, but we're just going to keep it a little less crazy today and just focus on Mother's Day and all of the other exciting things that are going on out there. So, um, let's just kind of dive right in. Let's just talk a little bit about why we're here today and how we want to kind of honor our mom. And I just want you to share, just jump right in and share like one of your favorite memories of mom, or however you want to take that.
Right. I have so many memories of our mother. She was such a wonderful woman. She just was amazing. And one of the things I loved about her is she wore many hats in our family. I mean, starting with being a makeup artist to being a KMOV Channel 4 worker as a PBS operator. She worked at Botanical Garden, a switchboard operator. She just did so many wonderful things, but just being our mother in itself was amazing. You know, she loved her children and her grandchildren very, very much.
Oh, very cool. Well, it's interesting that you talk about like how she shares so many different hats and just kind of like did everything. I mean, mom literally did everything. And I think that's where I got a lot of my energy from. Folks often ask me like, "Why are you doing so much?" And I'm thinking, I don't know. It's kind of like that was my example in life. Like mom just had fun and she tried all new things and it was just really really cool. Um one of the things that I'm excited for about this show is that we had several audience members and listeners do submittal. They wanted to do a shout out to their mom. And so I am going to read our first audience shout out. So this submittal came from a good friend of ours, actually, Michelle Duquesne. And here's what Michelle submitted about her mom. And for those of you watching, you'll be able to see beautiful photos of that Michelle submitted. So here we go. My mother, Eleanor Mergner, was an amazing woman who raised 11 children, lived through the Depression, and knew the love of being married to my father for 54 years and lived an additional 15 after my father passed away. She knew the tremendous loss of the tragic death of her son and saw the many joys of her children and grandchildren getting married. She was an amazing woman of faith. She never said a word about anyone. She disliked gossip. She never swore. And as I think of it, she was the closest image to God. she and my daughter had an incredible bond. Even though she never saw any of her own children being born, I asked her to be at the birth of my daughter, Maria, and that it is where all began. Their bond was more different and unique than anything I had ever experienced. As my mom aged, Maria would go be her personal nurse and had many fun times together: fish fries, movies, cooking together, and playing cards and dominoes. My mom was part of Maria's wedding, and it was one of her proudest moments. She ended up moving in with Maria, where Maria and her husband Jeremiah became her priority caregivers. It was probably the best time of her life. I strive every day to make my to like be like my mother. She was beyond kind, never held a grudge, and always prayed her way through any troubles. She lived a simple life, and as long as her family was close by, she never needed anything more. She is deeply missed by me, and I often think just one more day do I wish I had with her. So thankful for all the moments with her, the help that helps me survive the sadness with her not being with us anymore. Wow, Michelle, that was absolutely such a beautiful submittal. And clicking through some of the photos right now that Michelle submitted of her beautiful mom and her daughter as they're working together and just kind of sharing these wonderful, special memories that Michelle just spoke about. So, again, thank you so much for submitting that, Michelle. Absolutely beautiful, and I'm really sure that some of our audience members will definitely draw some inspiration from that beautiful story. So thank you again. Um, so with that being said, I mean, Tina, Michelle talked about so many different things. She talked about how her mom was just a woman of love. And one of the things that she mentioned is her great cooking, right? And we all know that cooking and food brings a family together. So let's talk a little bit about some of like mom's favorite dishes and some of the food that we enjoyed as children.
Right. Where do I begin with that? Mom was definitely a soul food cooker. She made fabulous mac and cheese, which I picked that up, and I'm considered the mac queen now.
Yes.
Her greens, her sweet potatoes, her pinto beans was amazing. Fried chicken, but one of my favorites was her dessert. She had this huge dessert menu. She made this lemon drizzle pound cake, and it was so moist,
Mm.
and we really enjoyed it. Banana pudding, peach cobbler, the list goes on. But yes, she loves to cook. She loved to cook.
So I personally, I was never like the one who was able to cook the food itself. I did a lot of the prep work. So it's like my part in the kitchen was always do this, like open these cans, crack these eggs. And I did not walk away with the knowledge that you and our sister Sharia and our sister Zena have. So I'm just super thankful to have you all in my life because literally when I come home to visit family, I just kind of show up and I get that home cooked soul food and it is just absolutely so delicious. So thank you for carrying on that tradition. And for
No
those of you
problem.
out there listening, I would literally love to hear about some of the favorite recipes that your mom shared with you. Feel free to drop them in the discussion on the Possible Project Facebook page, and we can share those and kind of enjoy those together. So, speaking of food, like I think this is a really good segue into our sister Zena because Zena posted yesterday on Facebook a picture of some sugar toast. And I'm going to describe this to you guys. So basically, you take a piece of white bread and you take like dots of margarine. So think of five, like one in each corner and then one in the middle. And it's just like this melted butter. And then you sprinkle sugar on top of the whole piece of toast, and then you put it in the oven on broil. So what comes out is like this golden, crispy piece of toast that's just like slightly sweet and buttery. And oh my gosh, I'm getting hungry. So, at any rate, I am going to transition over to a submittal from our oldest sister, Zena Watkins. And so this is what Zena submitted, guys. My mother, Joyce Pickens Moore, born August 14th, 1947, through October 6th, 1998. Such an amazing woman who taught me everything I know. Yes, you are truly such an amazing woman. Mom always would tell me, Zena, as long as God is breathing, you hold on, let me say that again. Mom would always tell me, Zena, as long as God breathe in you, you can do it. That sticks with me in every single day of living. No matter my struggles, I will always hear my mother say that to me. Rest in peace, beautiful angel. You are never forgotten. So, for those of you watching, Zena submitted this beautiful photo imagery of our mother, and it is just beautiful. So, thank you, Zena, for sharing that. Um, and I just kind of want to take a moment here. Zena really referenced how, you know, you were gone but never forgotten. So this kind of shout out goes out to all of you folks out there who lost your mom. And your mother is no longer here on this earth. Uh, just know that the things and the time that you spent with your mom, you can always reach back in and reflect on that, and that you're never alone. You're never forgotten. And just hold on to those memories and share as many wonderful memories of your mom that you can, because uh we never know when that time is up and when we won't have them with us. So for those of you who have lost your mom, special shout out to you guys, and a tribute to all moms out there. So um that is Tina. Tina, do you have anything you want to add to that piece about that? Because it's been so special how you kind of stepped up and you were the mother like figure in a lot of our lives as mom passed away. So I just wanted to give you a moment to share anything if you desired.
Well, I learned it all from my mother. You know, she
Hmm.
gave her all, she gave her heart, she would take anyone in. And again, she loved her children and grandchildren. So a lot of that heartfelt things that I've done came from her. And it's challenging, but it's a blessing. And it was something that I promised her. She had asked me to take care of you all, you know, because it was really hard for her to leave you all. So, you know, it was very heartfelt, and I tried to do the best job I could. So I hope she's proud.
I know she's proud, and
Yeah,
as I just kind of reflect on myself and think about how I turned out, I know that it is not due to just myself. Like, it took a village to raise me and the rest of our siblings and our nieces and nephews. And I think you did an amazing job, and you're still to this day doing an amazing job. So, with that
thank
being
you.
absolutely. With that being said, I'm popping back over here to our audience submittals. We have a submittal from Ruth Stedman, and this is what Ruth would like to share about her mom. My mom, Vivian, grew up in the Depression, raised 7 kids, and lost 5 babies. She was the kind of person who was always willing to help anyone in need. She loved us unconditionally and loved God with all her heart. I don't think she ever had an unkind word to say about anyone. She always found the good in people, and I know that she brought out the best in me. I am so thankful to have grown up in a home where I knew I was always loved. I have always tried to live my life with that same kind of love for others. I have witnessed my children and my grandchildren demonstrating that same type of love for others. When she loved this world, she left a legacy of love. Wow. Ruth, thank you for sharing that beautiful story and dedication to your mom. It sounds like your mother was a beautiful woman, and I can attest that my interactions with you, I always feel loved and cared for, and I can definitely feel that energy and that spirit coming from you. So that's absolutely beautiful, and thank you so much for sharing. Tina, I'm going to toss
Hmm.
it back to you. You have a lot of wonderful things to share about our mom. As Ruth talked about her mom's just her faithfulness and her love for Christ. I know that that's where our mom got a lot of her spirit and her energy from. So let's talk about that for a bit.
Yes, Mom, she truly believed in God and was faithful to her church. And she always taught us to say, Lord, have mercy with every situation. Just don't forget your mercy. She just was faithful to church. She was in the choir, usher board, served as the secretary on the board, and she just loved to sing. And that was the place she loved to be the most.
Absolutely. Well, I can attest to the fact that that's the place she loved to be the most because, man, I remember like being in church. It seemed like 24/7. So, folks, I'm going to describe like a week in our house and kind of like how church was involved with it. So, Sunday morning, all right, you got to get up early, hurry up and eat breakfast, get out the door because when you serve on the usher board, the idea is that you're there to welcome the other folks. So you have to be there before everyone else, right? So you get there, get situated, serve on the usher board, sit through the ceremony, and then after the ceremony, you go home and you have lunch. So usually we do like a family. If we went out to dinner, we'd go out to brunch or something like that, or we'd come home for a home cooked meal. And then you have like this very like maybe 3.5 hour break where us kids would go run off. We'd play basketball on Sunday or whatever, and then go back, get cleaned up, get back in our Sunday clothes because oh yeah, there's an evening service, right? So. I think we had to be back at church for like 5 or 5:30 or something like that for the evening service. And evening was kind of a slightly different from the morning. It was like a smaller segment of preaching and a whole lot of singing. So that was always fun. And then I think Tuesday there was usher board rehearsal would happen on certain Tuesdays, but then like choir practice would happen on Tuesdays for the young adult choir, and then there's like a different prayer service that takes place on Wednesday, and then on Thursday there's another choir practice. There's nothing going on in church on Friday or Saturday, and then right back at it on Sunday. So um, that is how much mom loved the church and how much we all had the opportunity to participate in church while growing up. So, with that being said, I am going to pop back over to our guest submittals because we had a submittal from Sharia Keeley. And this is our other sister, guys. So it's so beautiful. My mother, Joyce Pickens Moore, was a beautiful woman inside and out and was one of the sweetest people that I knew. She gave birth to 5 beautiful children. 4 daughters, Zena, Tina, Shara, and Tara, and one son, Alfred. She raised us all up in the church. She reminded us often, don't forget your mercy, and the mercy works. She was an amazing mother and grandmother. She loved all her children and grandchildren. She loved her family. My mother loved the Lord and she was faithful and dedicated to her church. She helped anyone that she could and would give her last. She was great at all that she did and was an excellent cook. Holidays were always big in our house and the doors were always open to anyone. I miss our soul food dinners and most of all her homemade desserts. She had the most amazing infectious smile. I was young when I lost my mom, but her legacy lives on. And now I'm sharing all that I can about our beautiful mom with my children. Our mom, she will never, as you are, our mom, she will forever be present in our hearts. I miss her and I love her dearly. Sharia, that is a beautiful submittal. And for those of you watching, I have a photo of Sharia and her mom, and what a beautiful photo. What a beautiful mom our mother was and still is through all of us. I see a reflection of us in every single one of her children and grandchildren. I can see bits and pieces of her. My children never had the opportunity to meet our mom, and I have a picture of her that's in our hall, and we see it when we pass by it every day. And I see just a little bit of her in them, and it is the most beautiful thing. So, um, yeah, that is absolutely beautiful. So, Tina, I am going to open it back up to you because you have so much to share about our mom. So, I just want to toss it back and let you have the floor for a while.
Yes, she was very creative. She could take a pair of curtains and make a dress out of it. I got my creativity from her, and Tara is right. All her grandchildren and children have a great deal of talent, and she would just be so amazed if she was here to see all of their talents. It's just amazing. So yeah, she was very creative. It's something I was thinking about while you were talking, Tara. Even though mom, she spent a lot of her time in church, she did take a little bit of time out to go skating. Skating was like her favorite activity outside of church, and she was named Skate Queen because she stayed there any other chance that she had. She would go to the skating ring and skate. So, yeah, she
Yeah,
just
that
was a
is,
beautiful
I'm glad you
person.
brought that up. I'm so glad you brought that up because Skate Queen, she used to love to skate over at the Skate King was the name of one of the roller rinks I remember. And it was so funny because like these day and age, I can see skating is kind of coming back around, right? So I see all these videos of people skating, and I just remember like mom had the little terry cloth headband around her head, and she'd always have some sort of like towel in her hand or hanging out her pocket. And it was just like, man, you just brought back so many memories. I got to find some of those pictures because, man, they were beautiful. I remember I tried to skate, but I was never as smooth as her. So I just tried to go fast. But yeah, that is a great, great memory of our mom. Um, so I am just tossing it back over to our guest submittals. We have a guest submittal from Amy Bendridge. She would like to say Happy Mother's Day to Bernice Bendridge of Kewaskum, Wisconsin, my precious 94-year-old mother. And for those of you who are able to see and are watching, there's a big, beautiful photo of Amy. It looks like at Amy's wedding, and Bernice just has the most beautiful smile on her face, and you could just tell that she is so excited to be in that moment, sharing that moment with her daughter Amy. So, Amy, thank you so much for submitting that beautiful photo. So we have covered a lot. I'm like scrolling through our social media to make sure that we have covered every single one who submitted. And I'd like to just give a quick shout out, really quick, one more time to Zena Watkins for submitting, Michelle Duquesne, Amy Bendridge, Ruth Stedman, Sharia Keeley. Thank you all for submitting those beautiful messages of your mom. And so one of the cool things that I like to just kind of segue into is my sister Tina shared with me this beautiful poem that our mother wrote, and she wrote it to her her own mom, Eva Mae Watkins. And so I think that it's really cool. I didn't know about this poem, but I can kind of take I guess I know where the writer in me came out. Like I wrote the book Finding My Possible, so that I can make sure that my story was there and available for my children. That was one of the primary reasons, because you never know what's going to happen. So I wanted all that I could to be there for them. And I'm so happy to share this poem with you all now that my mother wrote to my grandmother, whom I never met. The poem is titled Mother. A mother fits into her family in ways that makes life fun, who is really good to everyone and especially to her little ones. A mother is someone who takes an interest in how her children feel. She will give up her food for them and stay up all night when they are ill. She shows concern so often in ways that's warm and real. A mother is someone who holds you close to her heart, always ready to guide you with gentle words of encouragement. A mother can understand in her own special way, and she appreciates more than any words can ever say. Before I was born, I never would have guessed how love could fill the whole wide world with joy and happiness. A mother is someone who dreams great dreams for you, yet expect the dreams that you decide to follow and will always love you just the way you are, yet setting you free to find out for yourself just who you are and who you want to be. So, to you, mother, with a world of love and gratitude for being the wonderful mother you were, for teaching me to respect myself, my home, and my fellow man. You've changed my life in many ways. You've made my dreams come true. That's why today and every day I love you the way I do. Mother choose to live a special life, not just for us kids, but also for Jesus Christ. Um, that is a beautiful poem. I'm so glad you found that. And for those of you watching, I just transitioned to a photo of my grandmother, Eva Mae Watkins. This is the mother of our mother, Joyce Pickens Moore. So, again, I guess one thing that I'd like to share is if you are able to document anything that you like to share with your children or grandchildren. Take lots of photos. If you write them a letter, those things, they mean so much. Like I said, I did not get a chance to meet my grandmother, but I am thankful for the ability to just at least hear how my mom felt about her own mom. And then, the pictures and the photos to reflect on, just to have a little bit of insight into your ancestry and kind of how you became the person that you are today. So if you're listening and you're not sharing those memories, like start sharing, start documenting, start telling the folks that you love how much you love them, and just know that tomorrow's not promised. So, um, I have been talking a lot, and I'm going to transition it back over to my dear sister to share any closing words that she'd like to share. So, Tina, go ahead.
Yes, something that's very important to me is you have to always just let your mom know you love her. Give her a hug, just do something special for her because, as Tara said, we're not promised. We're not promised each day. We just have to take a day at a time, but always just show the love to your mother.
Well,
So,
thank you so much, Tina. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And I can think of a better person to co host this special Mother's Day tribute with. It has been absolutely phenomenal and brought back a lot of great memories. And just so you know, I'm going to be hitting you up for some of those desserts and that macaroni and cheese next time I come to town. So, happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers out there. We just want to wish you a blessed Mother's Day weekend, good time with family. Take lots of photos and just share positive energy as often as you possibly can. So, thank you all for listening to this episode of the Possible Project podcast. Check out the show notes to access our guest details, support links, and subscribe to be notified of our weekly episodes coming to you every Wednesday. Next week is National Bike to Work Week, and we will have an amazing Shiro on the show to talk about how cycling changed her life and impacted an entire community across the world. I am super, super pumped. If you know of an amazing individual who has a light that is shining bright, I want to hear from you. Shoot me an email at thepossibleprojectpodcast@gmail.com. Well, that's it, folks. This is T Gun signing off. Remember, let your faith be bigger than your fears because all things are possible through Christ.